Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, X. Hope everyone's doing well. Tonight, it's time for the Daily Factor. We got Dylan, my new friend Dylan, in the house. I gave the world's worst explanation on a diagonal spread, but I'm going to redeem myself soon, Dylan. Jackson, you want a treat? Do you want a treat, buddy? Come here. What do you want? This? Come here. Come here, Jackson. Come here. Good boy, buddy. Jack, we had a good day today. Jackson and I went on our 4.5 mile jog / walk. My Sooners won. My Longhorns won. They aren't really my Longhorns, but I root for them every week except when they play the Sooners. What's up, biker man? All right. Daily Factor. So we were going to do S&P Saturday night. But I want to do. I decided to make an editor's choice. We're just gonna look at. The problem with the Daily Factor with the top 20 show. I did the top 20 show today. Let me share the screen, and I think I still have it loaded up here. Well, maybe I don't. Anyway, the top 20 show is great, but so many of the stocks are based on so many of the things that make it in there are based on a single underline. And I just think a single underline, I mean, it's great when you hit it, but I mean, it's too much variance for me. So what I decided to do is I looked at the top 20 list, and I actually looked at the top 100. I took all the ETFs out of the top 100 that are diversified, and the ones I wanted to talk about. So we're going to talk about diversified ETFs tonight, like like Chippy and like GPTY and like, those types of things. SPY, iSpy, JEPI, JEPQ, whatever. We're gonna talk about index-based ETFs tonight. What spread did I? Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna, but I've been thinking about a way I could teach it better, and but anyway, No, you're right. That's just embarrassing. I'm usually really good at explaining strategies, but not that night for some reason. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. There's 13 of you here, so let's get this show on the road. Let me show you what I have. This is just going to be like any other Daily Factor show. We look at these ETFs all the time. I'll try to go kind of fast. And if you guys want, you can ask questions afterwards, or I can let you guys go so you guys head to the club. I'm going to watch football, but yeah, it's been a great day. It has been a great day here. All right. So I thought I still had last night's up, but I guess not. Maybe that's, no, I mean, I still have this morning's up, this morning's top 20 list. Well, but it was okay. Yeah. So that's good. I want to leave that up. We're going to leave that up for comparison purposes. And I'm going to get this one opened up really fast. Editor's choice, Saturday night. Okay, so what I did is I looked at what we did on the top 20 show today. And here was the top 20. I mean, and these are fine ETFs, GOW, GOY. There's nothing wrong with them, but just the fact they're based on one stock, I'll give you a good example. COIW used to be one of the best ETFs around, but then, or CONY or CO whatever, Coinbase was absolutely killing it. But then they missed earnings, and they didn't miss by a little bit. They missed by a lot. And it totally killed an otherwise great ETF. Just that one thing. So you can't have, 50 or 100 stocks all miss earnings. Now, there's safety in numbers, but when you have 50 or 100 stocks, doesn't keep you from losing money. But when you lose money with those types of stocks, you need like a broad market pullback. So what I did is I went through this list, and I just chose the ones that were diversified. But to make it somewhat fair, I only looked at the top half of the list there. So I only looked at like the first 90. But I have things like I have XYLD, and then I have and diversified and based on stock indexes. We aren't going to talk about bonds tonight. I have SOXY, TDAC. TDAC's a good one. Big Y is a great one. IDEVO, DEVO, JEPQ, all those. So what I did is I made another list, and I don't, no disrespect for these right here. GOW is awesome. It'll be awesome as long as Google keeps going up. But I mean, it's definitely mathematically the best fund. I just think it's too it's too much of a bet on Google, or on any one stock. Just think, if you would, NVDY is a very good ETF, and NVDW, anything NV has been really good, but they missed earnings, or actually they had good earnings, but the stock still sold off the next day. I just don't like taking that type of single stock risk. So anyway, so here's what we have tonight. So let's introduce the contestants, and let's go based on yield. We have Chippy from Yield Max, and of course that's a good one. I mean, yielding 39%, and the NAV's flat on the quarter, which isn't bad after the past couple of weeks we've had. Anyway, we have GPTY. This one's really badass also, in my opinion. 36% yield. NAV's down a little bit. NAV's down about 5%, but we've kind of been in an AI pullback. I mean, for instance, NVIDIA's in GPTY, and some other stocks that have been getting hit lately. But in any event, XDTE. Now, this thing right here is a monster. I love this one. This is from Round Hill. This was the first fund to do the uncapped at night strategy, where they just sell options during the day. Works really well during a bear market. I mean, a bull market. But in any event, these guys pay 30%. That's huge. NAV's down, 3%, but I trade 3 for 30 all day long. And I think a lot of you guys would too. But in any event, QDTY. Now, this is from Yield Max. This one does a great job. It pays about the same yield as XDTY. NAV's pretty solid, down about 3%, not too bad. Then we have SDTY, also from Yield Max, based on the S&P, 24% yield, and NAV's down 2%, pretty good right there. IWMW is a good-looking one, paying 23%. NAV's, down 3%. That's not too bad. Then we have XYLG. Now, I talked about this one on the Top 20 show today. The reason, in case you guys missed it, the reason why this dividend is so high is because they paid a special one-time dividend at the end of the year last year. The reason they paid a special one-time dividend is because they only sell options on half the portfolio. And the S&P did great last year. It was a banner year for the S&P. So they had a big capital gain not from selling options. They only pay out about 6% annually selling options. But they had a big capital gain from the upside that the fund was able to catch, that the half of the fund was able to catch that's unencumbered by options. So they had to pay it out. I don't think they'll do it again this year, but still, this one this one is a good looking fund. It's probably not going to win Editor's Choice or whatever, because I don't think it's going to be 22% next year. But anyway, SPY2 is a really nice fund from Defiance. This was the first index-based target fund. This was Jay's first attempt. People have always been saying, you got to fix the erosion. You got to fix the erosion. Well, this was their first attempt at doing that. And so there's really no fixing erosion. It just has to do with how much you pay out and a few other factors. But they limited this to 20%. And sure enough, it's been doing pretty well. Speaking of 20% and doing pretty well, we have XPay from Round Hill. These guys use, forget how they do it, but they don't really sell options. I don't know if they use total return swaps or if they just have a portfolio based on the S&P and sell a little bit. But in any event, they don't use options. So it's a little bit of a different strategy. I think that's what they do. I think they just sell stock. So in any event, IVVW pays 17%. That's a good one. T-SPY pays 14%. I had this one myself. T-SPY looks pretty, it pays 14%, but compared to some of those higher paying ones, the NAV's a lot better. And the NAV on IVVW is really pretty good too, to only be down 11. You know what I'm saying? Those are pretty tough. Now, TDAX a really good one as well. Now, these guys were the second guys, T-SPY and our friends over at Tap Alpha, I believe, were the second people in the high yield space to do the only sell options during the daytime, leave yourself uncapped at nighttime strategy. Not only that, TDAC, and this is, or I know this is the case on T-SPY because the founder, Sai Qatar, was on my channel, and he mentioned it. T-SPY, to enhance their income a little bit, they also sell a few shares of stock. So they do sell options, and they pay the yield through selling options, but they also, I think they'd only make like 10 or 12% if it was just from selling options, but they sell a few shares of stock to kind of boost them up to the 14 range. So that's their strategy. So the TDAC strategy is kind of a hybrid of the XPay strategy and the XDTE strategy, which was the first guys to be totally uncapped at night. All right, so T-SPY or TDAC, okay. IWMI, look at this thing, actually has NAV that's up a little bit. It only pays 13%, but that's not too bad. Triple QI is a monster. Everyone loves this one. NAV's flat, pays 13%. We'll take that. SPY is the brother fund of Triple QI, pays about 11%. NAV's up a little bit. XYLD, this is from Global X. This one pays generally about 1% a month. QYLD, same thing, generally pays about 1% a month. But look at this NAV these guys are getting. Global X actually has been doing better as the stocks have pulled back for whatever reason. Well, it's because they sell at the money options or closer to at the money options. Really, if you knew the market was going to go down, you'd want to sell at the money options or even in the money options. If you knew the market was going to crash, you'd want to go 10 points into the money and sell that option because you get a bigger premium. The market's going to crash. You don't get exercised anyway, and everyone's happy. In any event, so XYLD and QYLD lately have really been having a lot of buffer and doing a great job. All right, now Big Y, this one's a good one. This is Jay's second attempt to fix the erosion. It's not really an attempt. He did fix it because what they did with this one is they just switched it to a target 12 fund. So they only pay, they do monthly options, and they only sell enough options to meet the 12% target. Then the rest of the portfolio is uncapped. So this one does a good job, and you can see that uncapped, helps it compared to some of these other ones. It's actually up 1.5%, and it's paying, 10.5% yield. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. JEPQ is a good one, sells monthly options. JP Morgan based on the Qs. These guys do a great job. They have a really low expense ratio. I mean, that's a blue chip high yield fund right there. It has like, I don't know how many billion it has under management. Let's go look. It doesn't have as much as JEPI. I swear that JEPI from JP Morgan has 35 billion last time I checked or something like that, 40 billion. I mean, this is a blue chip, blue chip type of ETF. Now you can see they haven't captured the March high back. But remember, this doesn't include dividends. This is just price only, but that still tells us something. Yeah, 40 billion. So I was right. I said 35 or 40. Now I want to say that JEPQ, last time I checked, maybe had 13 or 15 or something. I'm trying to remember. Let's check old JEPQ. But yeah, these are blue chips. These are super blue chips. Also, I wanted to check the expense ratio. If you're really highly sensitive on expense ratio, these could be good ones too. Oh, this one has 30 billion now. Okay. It used to have less, but that's great. I'm glad to be wrong on that. So one has 40 billion and one has 30 billion. Expense ratio, 35 basis points. That's nothing. That's a third of some of these, some of these newbie funds that are doing the weekly strategies. The weekly strategies do take more work, and also paying weekly and stuff. I mean, to some people, that's worth the extra expense ratio. But if that's not worth it to you, you could do a lot worse than JEPQ or JEPI. So let's get back here. Tuggin. Now Tuggin has Tuggin. All right. Tuggin is STF Capital Growth and Income. Let's click on their website and kind of take a look at these guys. This is one we never talk about, or hardly ever talk about, but this one does a good job. It's been around for a while. Um, oh, they have a white paper. I've never seen the. Well, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to do that. But in any event, I was just going to see what it says here. Tuggin seeks long-term growth of capital and current income. Most of the other funds say they seek current income and exposure to the upside of the underlying. This is all about growth, but they pay a really small yield too compared to some of the other ones. They say it's an income solution with a rules-based approach to asset allocation, powered by the tactical unconstrained growth. Oh, I forgot about this. They have their own index, their own it's proprietary or rules-based or whatever. They have their own thing, and it's called Tug, and it tries to pick the stocks that are better than other stocks, and that's how they weight the portfolio. Tug is an ETF that doesn't pay. If you guys are growth people, I've never talked about Tug before, I don't think. Look at this. Tug is the same thing as Tuggin, but no yield. So no yield means it'll get a lot more upside just because of math. Just because of the way math works out. Performance year to date, 15.29%. Performance for the year, 17%. 3-year performance, 80%. You could do a lot worse than this one if you're looking for a growth fund. But anyway, let's look at their top 10 holdings. It looks a lot like, it's big tech, but it looks to me like it's weighted almost the same as the S&P. I don't know. Nvidia's maybe a little bit. It isn't weighted exactly the same, but it's similar. But in any event, whatever they're doing a great job. But just as for comparison purposes, year-to-date performance for these guys that don't sell options is 15.29. So if we punch in Tuggin that does sell options, an income is a tax on the upside. I bet it's a little bit less. Probably not a whole lot less, but yeah, it is. Performance is 4 instead of 15. But this is just NAV. This is NAV performance only, because when you do the other one, you're getting money back in the form of distribution. So once again, it depends on what you need. If you want growth, something like Tug's the ticket. If you want income, maybe something like this is the ticket. All right. So, but yeah, that's a company I've never heard of before. STF Management. All right. Well, what else? Tuggin, GPIQ. This is another blue chip fund. Let's look at GPIQ. I want to see how many assets under management it has. I'd say 5 billion, or I'm just guessing now. I haven't looked it up, but probably many billions, multiple billions, I would guess. I think this is Goldman's attempt to compete with the JP Morgan funds. Yeah, 2.1 billion under management. It got introduced in October 26th of 2023, which was a great time for a fund to come out because that was right at a bottom. That was right at a bottom. Let's go look at that. Let's just put up a weekly chart so we can see a little bit further back. Yeah, look when they got introduced. I mean, now granted though, they did great up until April, and then in April, this is NAV only. This doesn't include distributions, but up until April, it brought them all the way back to where they started, but then they took off from there. All right, GPIQ, and I also want to look at the expense ratio, 29. So that's what I'm saying. These guys are trying to compete with the JP Morgan funds, JPEQ or JEPQ, or it's JEPQ, and this is GPIQ. Low expense ratio, super steady, good funds, blue chip funds right there. You could do a lot worse. If you don't like high yield funds, or if you don't like the yield maxes and stuff of the world, one of these or Tuggin, could be a nice alternative. All right, KQQQ, we talk about that one all the time. That's one from our friend of the channel, Howard Chan, making about 9.6%, but usually gets a lot of upside. But for the quarter, it's flat. All right, Spin. This is from State Street. These guys sell covered calls, pretty basic, monthly time frame, pay about 8%. Triple QX, this is from Nuveen. This is their own tactical rules-based strategy, which basically means they don't sell all the options they could sometimes, and sometimes they do, depending on what they think the market's doing. And they also vary the distance out of the money. JEPI, this is the one that has 40 billion under management, blue chip, 8% yield. Anyway, double QA, this one is a equal weight fund. GPIX, this is GPIQ's brother. IDEVO, we know about IDEVO. SPUT, QILG, CanQ is a good one. I mean, it can be, but it just pays a really small yield. And Devo, IDEVO and CanQ and Devo, all of these down here could have a use in your portfolio, but they pay a smaller yield. So what do we know about yield? It's a tax on the future upside. So let's look over here to the NAV return. And sure enough, all of these that pay the really kind of low yield have pretty decent NAV. It's your money. You can decide how you want it back. You can get it back in the form of a distribution, or you can get it back in the form of potential NAV upside. Still need the market to cooperate. You need the market to go up. But I mean, the Qs haven't been doing great lately. I mean, the past couple of weeks, they've had a decent quarter, but I'm saying, and this thing is still up 4%. That's a good looking fund. All right. So are you guys behaving over there? I hope you guys are behaving. Do we have any mods in the house? We don't have any mods. Oh my gosh, this is going to go sideways. Anyway, I'm just joking. But usually we have, I thought, who's a mod? I think Froggy's a mod and he's not here. He's probably at the club. All right. Anyway. All right. LSU's been a disappointment this year. It's still your team. Well, my team plays your team next week. And you guys are getting a new coach though, right? You're still in Ole Miss's coach, it looks like. I mean, LSU's a great program. I mean, so is Ole Miss. But, I mean, LSU, I don't know. That'd be a toss-up. If I was a coach, which one of those I'd rather coach at? Probably LSU to be close to just to be close to New Orleans. But I mean, I know that the home games at Ole Miss are incredible too. I've never been there. I need to go check it out. Are you bullish on gold? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. A lot of, I listen to a lot of what I hear on CNBC, and a lot of the, prognosticators have been bullish on gold for a while and continue to be bullish on gold. And I do have like 5% of my model portfolio, my real money model portfolio in gold. Hasn't been doing great lately. I have K Gold is the one I have. We can look at a chart later, but I really don't have a strong opinion either way, other than I know a lot of people are bullish on it. You got to sign on 200 shares of WPay, average of 50.72, and it's currently 40.26. Well, and also the dividend went down a little bit, but we can talk about that later. I can explain why the dividend went down. It's not all bad news. Yeah, WPay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. All right, let me just make sure. We're going to finish this up. Let me just make sure that you guys, there's nothing going on over here. Okay. I agree. I think Gold's a good, or was it Gold or iGold? I think it's Gold. One of these just always kills the other ones in the max factor. Anyway, we'll have precious metals night soon, and we can look into that. All right, so let's get back in the middle of this. All right, so we've looked at this. Now let's look at this relative stability. Now, one is market stability. XYLD, this thing, it's just stable as a rock. And I think that's an indicator. That's also probably explains why it's up 3.25. They sell at the money options, and it's kind of boring. And in a bullish market, they always lag way behind because they don't get a lot of upside. But this one's, really kind of surprising me how well it's doing. JEPI is a good one too. JEPI doesn't, they don't just sell options on the SPY indiscriminately. What they do is they sell options on the SPX to get an income. But what they do is they pick stocks, and they don't pick the exact stocks that are in the S&P. They pick value stocks. So, and they don't choose all 500. They choose like 100 to 120 stocks that they think are of value. So it gives you, it's a little bit different deal. But then in addition to that, then they sell options on the SPX to get this 8.3% yield. Anyway, okay. But yeah, those are super steady. I mean, blue chip steady. I mean, Global X, blue chip steady, been around forever. SPUT, I don't know that much about that one. Instead of covered calls, they sell puts, but that's the same thing. You're fishing in the same pond. It doesn't really, I don't think it really makes a big difference. Devo, I know a lot of you guys like Devo, and that's super steady. IVVW, don't know much about that one. XYLG is the one that had the monster payment, but GPIX, all these blue chips right here, that, you know, the blue chip ones. I think one thing, JP Morgan, the average client at JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, the average client probably is worth 3 million, I'm guessing, or, you know, where the average client at YieldMax is probably worth $500,000. So I'm just saying that they cater to a different crowd. When you're worth 3 million and they have a lot that are worth more than that, you're fine on 8%. I mean, you know, you just want a low expense ratio and you want them to protect your capital. All right. SPY, I mean, SPY is super stable. Spin, I don't know that much about, but it's from State Street. QYLG, SDTY. You can see these are the ones that are market stability or above, are the blue chippy ones. SPY-T does a good job. JEPQ has exactly market stability. It's a 1. Anyway, then the ones that are a little bit more on the risky side are XPay, WQA, XDTE, iDevo, TSPY, QQX, GPIQ. Notice that a lot of the Q-based ones are down on this list, but just because Q is a little bit more volatile than SPYs. But not to mention Russell, IWMW is only about 3/4 as steady as the market. Tuggins, you know, basically a growth fund. So they, you know, it's a growth fund that pays a little yield, but QDTY, IWMI, KQQQ, nothing wrong with KQQQ, but they make some outsized bets. Howard tries to buy, because he was on my channel, and he tries to, when this first came out, and they try to allocate to get like extra growth or whatever. So they're going to have the Nvidias of the world, and they're in the Palantirs of the world, you know, at times. TDAC's a good one. Not super stable, but it's a good one. GPTY, I really like this one. As you guys know, I talk about it all the time. And Chippy, I mean, but not super stable. GPTY is based on AI stocks. Chippy's based on, they're very similar because a lot of AI stocks are also, you need semiconductors to do. Anyway, but so these are kind of on the less stable side. All right. So let's sort it by sustainability and, all right. So I guess we'll just go like this. All right. So XYLG1, and it makes sense to me, because if you could really yield 22% and have 3% NAV upside, which isn't a lot of NAV upside, but you compare it to all these other good funds, and these other ones, I mean, I know you guys would agree that a lot of people would agree iDevo and Devo is a good company. Anyway, but this one, because it's a one-time payment, it's not going to get editor's choice. XYLD, not going to get editor's choice. QYLD, I mean, no disrespect to Global X, but it's got to go to TDAC. It's got to go to TDAC. I mean, even though it's a little bit less stable, you have your upside, you have your yield. Yeah, TDAC's going to be our winner on the editor's choice. But a lot of these, you couldn't go wrong with JetQ, Devo, iDevo. You know, there's a GPIX, GPIQ are good ones, not to mention SPY-I. The only thing that's hurting SPY-I is the, you know, it just hasn't quite performed as well as some of the other ones. You know, this is just based on the last quarter. So in any event, all right, guys. Well, I hope you like that. That's all I have for you guys. We can talk about whatever now. How's the game going? 28 zip. Wow. All right. Let's go see what's going on. There's a rumor that the Mr. Fund could be delisted. I had not heard that. Well, tell me what you know, Fish. I had not heard that. Interesting. Okay. But I did see kind of a strange post on X that said, don't change anything about Misty. We like it the way it is or something. I didn't really understand that. I mean, anyway, well, that's really interesting. Okay. The time to buy winter was a few months ago. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you, hopefully if Bitcoin, let's look at Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Come on, Bitcoin. You got to quit killing us. All right. Well, I like that. I like what I see there. Let me get another. I like the Coinbase chart better. Heck yes. Heck yes. And the only Bitcoin fund I have that's directly Bitcoin is BITK from Total Capital. Total Capital is the same dude that sub-advises Tap Alpha, and they also use the Tap Alpha strategy of only doing 0 DTE options and staying uncapped at night. So if this keeps going up, it's going to be a good day for BITK. Having said that, though, I've been losing my shirt in BITK, but it's just because, it's because the price of Bitcoin's been going down. Maybe 80,000 was the big round number we needed, and maybe people front rent it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to be positive. I know sometimes I can be negative. I was looking at this area, and so were other people. But maybe people were so anxious to buy, they started to front run it. Or that's one option. Option B is, it rallies up, maybe even gets over the moving average, sucks in some bulls, and then, and then it reverses. I hope that doesn't happen. Hopefully it keeps going up. But that would be awesome if the bottom's in. You never know in advance if the bottom's in. I mean, by the time you realize the bottom's in, the price would be like 95 or something. I mean, and you'll be going, darn it, why didn't I buy? But anyway, all right. So yeah, I hadn't heard about Mr. being delisted. I mean, they ought to delist Murney. Bullish on the gold. Well, you guys tell Leatherface if you guys like gold. I mean, we can crowdsource it. 2026 is going to look like 2022. I mean, possibly because 2021 and 2020, the second half of 2020 was a hellacious bull market, and it set us up for but now the thing about 2022 is interest rates started blowing up. And so it was that was kind of induced by interest rates. But if we go into a global recession or something, that could be or if maybe the AI bubble happens. I mean, the bubble pops, or maybe if crypto never recovers. Yeah, if crypto never recovers, or the AI turns out to be a bubble, yeah, I could see that possibly. It's one thing you have to consider. So let's look at. Let's look at this here. And let's also look at this here. And then let's also, I was just trying to see what the rally in 2020 and 2021 looked like compared to the rally we have now. And they're both hellacious rallies. In 2021, we didn't even have a down move, really the rally we're in now looks, yeah. I mean, let me show you guys something else. Let's do this, and let's type in interest rates, U.S. interest rates. And let's put this in the new pane down at the bottom. And you can see here, there's no such thing as free money, but for a while, the market basically had free money because the Federal Reserve policy was so accommodative. But there's a downside to that. It spurred the market and it got us out of the 2020 funk, the post-COVID deal or whatever. But then as soon as they started raising it, or really the market started to go down before they started raising it, but it's because the market discounts information. The big guys that trade the market, they saw it coming. But so what I was going to say, that's the good news. We don't have that situation happening in 2026. In fact, it's going to be the opposite, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. It could be though. I hope not. It could be though. WPay is getting trashed this year. Well, let's look. I mean, I've been happy with WPay, but I excuse the fund for going down if it's related to the market going down, because the fund can't do anything about that. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It is disappointing for people that bought it right here. I mean, I get it, because now it's under the initial offering price. Okay. I mean, that sucks. I'm with you on that. At least you didn't buy it on October. I bought it right here, October 30th. So, I mean, it could be worse. And you know, all right. Well, what was I going to overlay this with? Let's just actually trash the interest rates, and then let's check out the Qs. So you can see that's the problem right there. That's the whole story. That is the whole story, because WPay isn't based on the Qs directly, but the Roundhill stocks are tech, Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying? The same types of things that are in the YieldMax universe. I bet we could look at YMAX and it looks just as poor. YMAX actually looks a little bit better than, well, if you over the same time frame, let's see. Now, yeah, over the same time frame, it's the same deal. It's the same deal. Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, so WPay, do you guys want to know? So I saw some people disappointed that the distribution went down. Here's the thing: WPay doesn't sell options; they sell something. They do a total return swap. Well, so basically, it's a fancy way of just selling stock. You know, they don't do any options. But the thing about the total return swap is it's a deal they do with another bank, and if the market goes down, you know, the total return swap doesn't make as much. So because of that, they pay less. But I don't know that might not be a good strategy. A lot of people want their funds to pay less if the fund's not making any money, which is kind of what WPay is doing. But then other people say, no, I want my dividend to be consistent. You know, so there's two arguments to that. There's two arguments to that for sure. But as soon as the market starts going up, the total return swaps will start doing better. And I predict the WPay will pay about what it has been. I mean, I guess we could look at it this way. Let's just check this out. Now, let me just kind of space this out a little bit. So let's look at these dividend payments. 54 cents, 51 cents, 88 cents. But see, the market was blowing up. 73 cents, 85 cents, 73, 62, and the market is still going up. So 56, but now the market's coming down the past couple of weeks, 57 and 39. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's a total return swap just isn't going to make any money when the market pulls back. That's the advantage to a covered call strategy. Something like I was showing you on QYLD or something, even though it's boring and they sell at the money options, because they're selling options, when the market goes down, volatility expands, and funds like that will generally pay higher interest or, you know, higher yield, giving you more of a buffer. They're just two different strategies. It's just two different strategies, but I think there's room in my portfolio for both of them. I have ones that do it both ways, you know. All right, so here's that guy. If the general stock market is up over 15% and total return for an income ETF is down, it means the strategy sucks. Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way, but the general market is maybe you saw this. I was doing this, but you have to look at what the market's done in the time that WPay's been around. So so let's hang on a second. So let's go see. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. New pain. Okay, so the market actually in WPay's life went from, and I mean Qs are the closest benchmark, went from 579 to 587. So it's up 8 points on 500. That's, what is that? That's not very much, so, but yeah, you could have bought the Qs. Granted, you could have bought the Qs and you'd be up, what is that, like 5% or 1.5% or something? My math is failing me now. 575 to 585, let's make it easy, is 10. 1% of 580 is 5, and it's 2%. The market's up 2% in that time. So yeah, you could have bought the Qs and you'd be up 2% right now. But with WPay, they're giving you part of the money every week. And so, but anyway, yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. But just for comparison purposes, let's look at, QILD or let's look at triple QI, because that's one that everyone agrees is a really good one. I'd get no argument with that. So we'd have to look over the same time frame. Gosh darn it, I forgot when the day it came out is. But anyway, yeah, you could tell by looking at it, the triple QI looks a little bit better. But to be fair, these guys are selling options. I think selling options is a better strategy than the total return swaps. But the beauty about the total return swaps plus the little bit of leverage is they'll do a lot better on the way up. So, but yeah, I mean, I forget when it came out, like June something. Well, I can tell by the price here. It was like 585. So it was right somewhere in there, somewhere. Anyway, yeah, I hear you on that. I'm not selling my WK. I like it. All right. You want to transition to KYLD in December 2025. Yeah. K-Yield got off to a rough start for sure. It definitely needs the market turn around and go up. Now, K-Yield isn't on here because it's not old enough yet. Anyway, okay. I hear you, Dylan. Mostly in cash now, being cautious and buying a little bit. Yeah. I hear you on that. I'm 17, 18% in cash, something like that. I've been DCAing into my MSFY position and Bitcoin and then trading the rest. Well, I just saw today that ULTY, which has been hot lately, they were up 3% and beat every other thing, every competitor in the market. They beat that, just the one-day results. But, everyone says they're totally capped and stuff. Well, they darn sure weren't on Friday. But in any event, they just added, my point is they've had the hot hand, I guess, on Friday. Anyway, they just added IBIT to their portfolio. So these guys are professionals. So maybe that they're thinking the bottom's in or close to in Bitcoin also, because IBIT's a surrogate for Bitcoin, or it is Bitcoin. I mean, it's an ETF based on Bitcoin. All right. So, but I would be, if the bottom was in Bitcoin and it started going up again, it would solve a lot of these problems we're having. It would make WPay look a whole hell of a lot better. Because remember also WPay has a little bit of leverage. So comparing WPay to triple QI is not really a fair comparison, but I agree with that too. It's just why I know I got you, Red. We agree on most stuff. Planning on buying some Winter on Monday, and it may be perfect time to buy Winter, but I wouldn't. All I'm saying is I wouldn't buy Winter because you thought that Mister's getting delisted. Well, the rumor is that Misty's getting delisted, right? Not that Mister. But it's not like Winter's going to make extra if Misty gets delisted. But now if Mister was to get delisted or something and they busted Michael Saylor for fraud or something and he did the perp walk, yeah, then Winter would probably do all right. So I'm just not hoping for that. I try to be realistic, but bullish. KQQ's been solid of the bunch. Yeah. It's the only one that's been beating the Qs. Great point. Yeah. KQQ is awesome. I don't have any problem with KQQ. All right. Give it a week or two for Winter, unless if you're divvy chasing, Bitcoin has to pop even a bit. Yeah. Even a bit this week. Looks like it's popping now. If we can pop some more tomorrow and open in a big gap, and maybe the pros loaded up the other day. I'm just trying to be hopeful. 75 to 77 look like a solid area. Maybe people are front running it. All right. How do you understand the options and holdings for K Gold? How are the options working? Okay, Bikerman. I don't have a great understanding of that. I don't study the trades. That's one I trust in Howard. What I did is I bought GDXY and I made bank in it. And because I killed it and I wanted to take some profits off the table. So I sold all of it. But then after I sold it, I'm thinking I still want inflation protection. So I reinvested in K Gold. One thing is Howard just been on the station and I'm a big believer in, he does a great job doing what he does. He has a really good brand. So I bought it more because of Howard, but I did hear Howard on a Spaces. I forget whose space it was, one of Ambassador of Quan's, I think. Howard was mentioning that, and he was using K Gold as an example. They do kind of a special strategy where they try to get all the upside of gold and of the GLD index. And the way they do that is they use about 20% leverage. I think 20% a week. So they use that's kind of the Roundhill formula, the just a tiny bit of leverage. They use like 20% leverage. So that gives you, the upside to GLD, which is the gold ETF, of 1.2. You should go up, if you just do that and do nothing else, you should go up 1.2 times as much. But then what he does, and that's also known in option trading as 120 deltas. But then what he does is he goes way out of the money and he sells a way out of the money option that's also 20 deltas. But because you're selling it, it's a minus 20. So what he's trying to put together is an option selling strategy that uses a little bit of leverage, but should closely replicate all the upside of gold. And so I'm all about that. And when I heard him talk about that too, I really like that. Now I don't follow the daily trades and I haven't, audited it and I haven't seen, and I don't think it's a leveraged fund. I mean, I don't think it is, but he mentioned that's not the only strategy he does, but that's one of the strategies he does whenever they're bullish. If he's bullish on gold, he could definitely do that. He'll use a synthetic, buy a call, sell a put. Same thing as owning the ETF. It doesn't matter. But with the synthetic, he'll lever it up just like 20%. And then still sell an option. He's trying to be a best of both worlds situation. There's no free money, so it's not like that always works perfectly, but it's a legit strategy and I like it. And I haven't heard of anyone else that's doing that. Yeah, the Qs are not doing well this month. I'm with you on that. Okay, now Y Gold is leveraged gold and sells call spreads on indexes. Okay, well, that's a good segue into this conversation. So let's just run Y Gold against K Gold. But yeah, I like Y Gold always does well in the max factor. Or yeah, maybe it was I Gold. I confuse if it's I Gold or Y Gold, or maybe both of them do well. But let's just run it here. Yeah, you can see the leverage right there. You can see the leverage right there because Y Gold is also based on the GLD. And I haven't read the prospectus, but when they put the symbol of the ETF in the name of the fund, it's a pretty good clue that that's the fund they're trying to replicate. So let's just run Y Gold against gold and see. Of course, gold doesn't pay a yield. But yeah, you can see it looks like it's 20% leverage because look, it's been a full year. It's been a full year and, one of them's 70% and one of them's 53. So that's 17 extra percent on 53. That's about 20%, right? Anyway, yeah, that's Y Gold's impressive. Y Gold is impressive. And let's look at the dividend. It's paid $1.65 over the course of the year. Okay, but it costs $25 initially. If you bought it a year ago, you're out $25. So $1.65 is not a huge yield, though. That's the thing. It's less than 10%, but look at all this upside it gets. Yeah, Y Gold's a good one. So let me just throw I Gold in here now. Now that you got me on the gold topic, let's just look at I Gold. What is going on, I Gold? You've got to be kidding me. Well, hang on a second. We're going back too far. Let's just go back a year on Let's go back a year so it's an apples to apples comparison. So we'll go back to November of 2024. All right. Let's check out iGold. And you can just tell by looking, it doesn't look like iGold's levered, and it does look like YGold's levered. So now the thing about iGold is, though, it costs you $18 to buy it, and you've got $3.82 back. So you're making about 15%, you know. So if you need more yield, maybe iGold's the one for you. But if you need more growth, maybe YGold's the one for you. Now let me compare iGold to KGold. I mean, they're both good, but yeah. But over that time frame, you know, Howard wins. Howard beats the KGold beats iGold, but it doesn't beat doesn't beat YGold. Yeah. So the leverage, that's a good tip there. I didn't realize YGold was levered, but it looks like a good looking fund. All right. GDXY has done well this year, but lately down. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know it. I know it. Yeah, Lane Kiffin is at the top of the list. Yeah, I hear that. I heard they offered him $90 million in, what do they call it? Not for him, for the players. $90 million in that he can distribute amongst the players, you know, to get the best players there. I mean, all these schools in the Southeast Conference, they have money out the wazoo. I mean, money's not a problem. I wouldn't think for any of these schools. Maybe down in Mississippi. I'm just joking. But when you're in, maybe in Norman, Oklahoma, money's a problem too. But money's not a problem in Louisiana or Austin or Gainesville. All right. Devo has held up good in drawdowns and competes for over. Yeah, I don't have any problem with Devo, especially if you just want 5-6%, whatever. I mean, yeah, Devo's a good fund. All right. I'm still getting used to the second monitor, but this is cool now that this is really cool. Shout out to Dan. Dan helped make this happen. All right. For sure. Solid playoff team. Yes, absolutely. Is XPay capped on the upside? Not technically, because they don't sell options. I think they literally give you back your own money. They literally do what people say YieldMax does, but doesn't. But they literally do that. They just buy the SPY, but since it's only 20%, so they buy the SPY, so it's 20%. They have to sell like 1 3/4% every month. So they just put a big pool of money together. Say they put $1 million together to form their ETF. Well, out of that $1 million, they need $17,500 a month to pay the distributions. So what they'll do is they'll sell $17,500 a month worth of the SPY and give it out to distribution. But I'm not crazy about this strategy, because then the next month they don't have $1 million anymore. They have NAV erosion. Not really. I'm just joking. But I'm just saying that, you know, so they literally give you back your own money. But they do it in a tax efficient manner, though. They do it as return of capital. And so I'm not saying, a lot of people like XPay, and I'm not trying to trash it, but it's just not the strategy I prefer. Because I think what would happen is in a market like in a 2022, they're going to get spanked, because they're going to pay out the $17,500 no matter what, or the 1 3/4%. And if the price of their underlying goes down at the same time they're paying out, so get this. So then after 6 months or a year, it's you know, they only have $800,000, or they have $900,000, let's say. Okay, well, great. Then the market recovers. Well, they're only recovering with 90% of their original assets. So in that situation, I think something like T-SPY, T-SPY, or something like SPY-T that also pays 20% would do better, because they haven't sold any stock. They just sell options to pay you the money. So when the market fight, they'll do bad on the way down too. Everything does bad on the way down, but when the market recovers, that, you know, they still have all of their stock. So I just prefer the option selling way to do it. But the other side of that is, when you run studies on it, and I've seen multiple studies on it in people that just study just selling stock versus selling options. Lots of times the just selling stock plan works better. But it's like anything else. It depends on what kind of market was coming up. But that's a long way of saying it's not capped on the upside. But here's the other thing, Leatherface. If the market goes straight up, so they're paying 17,500 out of the million, and then the market goes up. Well, now they only have 99% of their portfolio left of the AUM, and then but as long as it keeps going up, yes, so they're uncapped, but with progressively smaller amounts of stock. They literally give you your own money back, but like I say, they repackage it so you get it tax-free basically, or tax deferred. So it can definitely work for some people. So they're uncapped. And so that's what I would say. So XPay, even though they have a little bit less stock every week, in a runaway bull market, I bet XPay would do better than the option selling strategies. But in a down market, it'd probably be about the same. But when the market recovers, that's going to be the real test for XPay. All right. You've been buying CLM. Well, CLM's a good one. You agree with TDAC? I mean, come on, TDAC's a good one. I mean, the max factor is a good metric. I like it, and I made it this way on purpose. But it really prioritizes safety. It prioritizes safety a little bit more than I do in real life. I mean, those ones that won mathematically are better. If you look at the risk-adjusted reward, those ones from Global X mathematically have been better bets this quarter. But I mean, on an editor's choice, I'm going to choose something like TDAC, and if I wouldn't have chosen TDAC, I may have chosen SpyT from Defiance, or I might even have chosen XPay. But there's other ones out there. Probably not XPay, but how about those Longhorns? How about them Longhorns, Chad? How you doing there, bud? I mean, Arch finally had a good game where finally everything clicked. For him. I mean, he had a good game against the Sooners, unfortunately, too. But I mean, he's just, I mean, I'm like I say, as long as the Longhorns aren't playing the Sooners, I want them to win every week. I'm going to be watching next Friday night. That Texas A&M game should be massive. I can't wait. Do you know where it's going to be, Chad? Is it going to be in College Station, or is it going to be in Austin? But if it's in College Station, my God, and Texas A&M has even a better defense than Oklahoma, but legit Oklahoma has one of the probably 4 or 5 best defenses out there. If we only would have had the defense we had now when we had Kyler Murray playing quarterback, or Jalen Hurts, 2019, 2020, man, when we had Kyler Murray, we played Georgia and lost in the playoffs 50-47, I believe, or 53-50, something like that. And Kyler Murray, you just can't stop the guy. The guy is a beast. I mean, he has, you guys know Kyler. Anyway, but we got way out, but our defense could not stop Georgia. And they scored last. And anyway, I'm still sore about that game. That was 2018, I believe, or the end of 2017. I really wanted Kyler to do to get the Heisman, which he did, but also to get a natty, or at least go to the final game. But he just, their defense was just not. Defense wins championships. That's really a truth. It's not just something that old men say like me, but it's true. Defense wins championships. It's like drive for dope, or drive for show, putt for dough. It's the same concept. All right, same area for me. 74 was your bottom, and I hope we bottom. Yeah, hopefully they just front ran it a little bit. Or maybe even if they didn't front run it, maybe it'll get like one more little leg down, and then that'll be the bottom, All right. What's the fund sector that's going to do well if the AI bubble stagnates, man? I don't know. I don't really study stocks that much. I'm more into the math of these things. But here's what I would say just off the top of my head based on math. And I'm going to limit it to covered call type funds. Something like RSPA should do well because it's equal weighted. Right now, the top of the leaderships it's not really directly AI, but I mean, NVIDIA's, pretty much, so I think something like that. Now let's try to let's look at that hypothesis, but I'd say something, I'm assuming you still want to be in covered calls. So, but you really asked about sectors. On sectors, who knows, maybe utilities or something. I don't know. But let me just stick with this example. All right, I've lost. Okay, there it is. So let's go back a year, or let's look at RSP, which is the equal weight S&P, and let's go back and see how it did in 2022. I'm just wondering if we could find instances of it protecting capital better or not, because lots of times, and when the market goes down, it's going to hit the ones that have been going up the hardest. So if AI, I would think something like RSPA, which sells options on the RSP, might be a little better. But let's see in 2020 what happened. This wasn't really a tech wreck or whatever, but when interest rates go up, it does hit the smaller stocks that borrow money. So that's lots of times the Russell and tech. Anyway, so the market was down like, I don't know. But anyway, let's just look at what the RSP was down. All right, 400 to 261. So that's 140 on 400. It's about 40%. So in this instance, they it looks like they did a little bit worse than the market. I don't know. So that's a bad example, but probably honestly something like I'm assuming we're limiting it to covered call funds. One of the State Street sector funds, maybe utilities or consumer non-discretionary, something like that. And that's just kind of general for any time, because if the AI bubble pops, it's probably going to we'll probably go into a 2022, if not worse. So, probably utilities or consumer non-discretionary, which is like bleach and toothpaste and stuff. Anyway, but what do you guys think? Kind of crowdsource that. Tell me what you guys think. Hey, Froggy, you're here. We finally got a moderator in the house. Luckily, everyone was well behaved. I didn't have to ban anybody. No, where are you guys hearing that from? Oh, okay. Mr. Skin delisted from the MSC. Okay. I thought she meant they were going to close down Misty. All right. So yes, I have heard that rumor. The MSCI is really not an index that I follow that much. I follow the SPY and the Qs. But I know that the MSCI is used as a benchmark for a lot of indexes. So, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm not really hip to that though. Okay. It might be delisted Bitcoin crash. Yeah. Well, so sure. A lot of stuff's going to get delisted if Bitcoin keeps crashing. For one thing, to be on these, to be in the indexes, be it the SPY, the Russell, or the Qs, you have to have minimum amount of capital. And so if you get, lots of times if the stock crashes, they'll take them out of the darn index because it won't meet the capital requirements anymore. And they have other requirements. So yeah, boy, that would be bad. That'd be bad. I've heard the same thing you guys have. I don't have anything extra to offer on that one. You figured if Bitcoin hits under 50, it's never going to recover. Well, Bitcoin went from like 65 to 13 2 or 3 years ago, or 16, something like that. It hit a high of 65. Then we had winter hit probably during 2022. Let's go look at that again. Let's check out a little Coinbase Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin to dollar, longer term chart. 2022, when interest rates go up, that really hits Bitcoin. A lot of people were buying on margin and got blown out. But yeah, this thing went from, my memory was 65 to, I said 13, but then I switched it to 16. Let's see how close I was. It looks like it hit 68. Looks like it kind of made a double top. It hit 64 and then it made a bull trap up here. Probably people thought it was going higher, but that was the end of November, and the free money party was coming to an end. And anyway, 68, and I think we had 16. Yeah, 16. I remember where I was. I was typing a text to my brother-in-law, telling him to get some Bitcoin, and he has an account at I don't know how much he got, but he got some. He has an account at trying to think, Robinhood or Coinbase, somewhere where you could get Bitcoin even back then. Anyway, but yeah, that was a good call. That was a good call. I don't think he has a lot. But in any event, but yeah, this is just a bad look. I mean, just on a technical basis, I mean, let's go see if let's put it on a logarithmic scale. Okay, so let's make kind of apples to apples comparison, and let me try to find a similar trend line. Let me go back a little further, just see the technical damage. Okay, well, this isn't the best parallel, but we're just going to go with what we have. If you go from this low and right there to that low, and then you can pretty much connect these three lines right here. I mean, gosh darn it, come on. It's just going to be luck if I get. I wonder if I can move it with the arrow key. I don't think I can. Anyway, you guys get the point. So we had a trend line. It bought, it went for 4,500 in March of 2020 after the COVID crash, and then we went higher. But then we came down. We went up to 12, and then came down to 8. That's a pretty big drop right there. 12 to 8. That's 30%, about the kind of drawdown we're in now. But anyway, and then you could draw from that trend line right up to this one. And we went up to 64 and then came down to 29. And people probably thought that was the dip and they bought it. But anyway, my point was you had a descending trend line and it failed in 2022. And if I could draw it right, I'm trying to show you something. I was trying to find a parallel where it came back up and checked it and failed again like it did recently. That's just your classic. So, but it's not really a good parallel. But anyway, when the trend line, if it doesn't take back the trend line pretty fast, it was done. Now, I mean, and so this is not a good look at all. It's just not a good look from a technical perspective, but it's a quick dip underneath. If it can take back the trend line pretty fast, I could draw other trend lines where it, I could find examples where it dipped under it and came back. So, but yeah, technically that's just not a great look. All right. Bank account bonus central. Hey bud, how are you doing? Evening. If Bitcoin doesn't rise, it's crushing the earnings. Yeah. Well, Tesla. Yeah. And so get this. A lot of the financing in the market is based on Bitcoin, a lot of the earnings and stuff. Not really directly. It's not because the companies just own Bitcoin. Some of them do, but the companies are selling data centers and they're selling cloud space to whatever. That, yeah, if it doesn't come back, it's going to have repercussions all across the market. Yeah, and it could definitely turn into a 2022 situation again, or even a 2001 situation. I hope not, but we really want Bitcoin to come back. I mean, I just take it one day at a time. But I mean, at some point, if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to dump BITK. As much as I like it, it's killing me. I probably should have dumped it already. But anyway, the actual companies that bought Bitcoin as earnings investments are going to be jumping ship soon. Yeah, true. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm thinking of companies that are building data centers and that are the second order derivative type stuff, companies that are, that kind of stuff. No, the talk is about Mr. Okay, thank God. Yeah, I misunderstood when I read that. I was like, I misunderstood. This is why being diverse helps to catch some of the market shift. Yeah, correct. And, but that still makes a good case for something like the RSP or the QQA, which are equal weight funds, because even when you're diverse, like the Qs are diverse, but it's about 80% tech. And not only that, it's cap weighted. So it's probably about 60% of it's 10 companies. So, it's diverse. It's more diverse than having any single stock, but if it really turns nasty, but you still want covered call income, you can use inverses. But I think that these ones that do the equal weight are going to become a lot more attractive. But then there's also sector funds. We'll find a sector that's hot, like Jim Cramer says, and there's always a bull market somewhere. There's always a bull market somewhere. Okay, Dylan, you feel if the AI bubble pops, power generation would be the move for U.S. markets to support servers and cloud stuff for future use. Yeah, Bitcoin mining facilities. Yeah, I agree. It's not going away. Way too many real world uses. And I've seen people make that point, Froggy, too, and also the point that I saw somebody that showed a chart of the Bitcoin drawdowns, and there's been a lot worse than the ones we're in now, and they've come back. I mean, really for Bitcoin, a 35% drawdown's nothing. I've seen that case made, but yeah, and I hear you about the use cases and stuff. All right, Dylan. You don't think we have an AI bubble, but that some money keeps going from company to company. Yes, I keep telling, because it's in the same ecosystem. One company buys another company or does a deal with another company, and they use that company's stock. And then, yeah, exactly. That's the circular economy or something. Yeah, I saw them talking about that on CNBC the other day. All right, let's check Bitcoin again. You guys can go. You guys can head out if you want. I don't have anything else. I just wanted to come on and do this live stream. Well, I guess let's look at a shorter term chart. Let me put it on 30 minutes and let me get rid of this right here. Throw this in the trash. I mean, job number one is to take back this moving average. And the moving average doesn't mean anything, but this is just the moving average I follow. It's a 200 period moving average, and I like the 30-minute bars. So, I mean, but that's the first thing first step is to take back the moving average and stay above it and not fell at the moving average like we have multiple times. But that's what I'm looking at, one step at a time. If we don't even touch the moving average and start going the other way, or we go a little bit above the moving average and can't hold it and then go the other way, yeah, it's probably, if that happens, it's probably going to 75, 76. But then maybe that's the bottom. But yeah, I want by the end of the weekend us to be over 86 and stay over it for a day or two. We did that here and we still failed, but I mean, we need to mount some kind of rally here. Or yeah, it could get worse before it gets better for sure. Hey, Mike, what are you doing? Michael, I saw you, were you on the show last night or, yeah, you were there last night, I think. Or no, I was watching a premiere. You were there this morning. I did my top 20 show and you were watching the show this morning. Cause I said something. I said, it must be Saturday evening where you're at. It was like 10 in the morning here, 10 or 11. So I figured Saturday evening, but right now it's probably Sunday morning where you're at, Michael. All right. Yeah. And you joined late that time too. Yeah, exactly. That wasn't the best top 20 show ever. I don't know. But I like how I did it this time. If you joined late, you may not have seen it, but I read the whole top 50. I didn't go into detail, but there's a lot of ones that I never talk about because the top 20 is such a narrow list. So I read all of the top 50. And so I got triple QI, TDAC, and I got a little chance to speak about everything. But then basically the top 20, just to recap the show, was all either gold-based, silver-based, or Google-based. I think there may have been an AMDW may have been on the list too, but basically the top 20 was gold, silver, and Google. Google's had a heck of a run lately. I mean, yeah, stable coins are going to be used a lot more these days. Why is nobody seeing what's going on? Why nobody is seeing what is going on with crypto? You see something. So tell me what you see, Michael. Are you agreeing with Froggy that there's a lot of uses, everything's fine, but yeah, tell me put your thesis in there. You take your time. I won't take your time. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything else here. Oh yeah, Dylan. Yeah, the 15 to 30% pullback. Here, I'm going to give you guys some homework. I'm going to give you guys some homework. You technical analysis guys. I'm trying to think. This guy right here, Shabako Capital. He's a Georgia boy. I think he's a Georgia Tech grad or something. I don't know. Anyway, but he's a Georgia boy. He doesn't sound like a Georgia boy. He has kind of a weird accent for a Georgia boy. But this is probably the best, my opinion, the best technical analysis channel out there. You know, I show you some technical analysis, but I don't know that much about technical analysis. I'm looking at the 30-minute time frame and very myopic, and you know, this guy goes back years, but then also goes in and looks at stuff. This guy is like a scientist, and he said, "Is this in this week's video?" And I'm going to put it up, and then I'm going to copy the link. All right, so this is your homework. If anyone's interested in it, and we'll look at some of the charts he has. But man, I mean, this guy's incredible. Anyway, but here's the thesis. It says, is this a normal stock market behavior or something to be concerned about? And I'll give you the too long don't read. It's normal market behavior. He's not concerned yet. And but you have to watch his video. And he looks at different ratios, and I mean, I just can't tell you how in depth this guy is. Hopefully some of you guys watch this, but I watched him for ever since 2020. He's on every weekend, and he doesn't get excited. He's very scientific, and I've not watched it all the way through 2022. See this S&P equal weight. He looks at the S&P equal weight because that tells him when leadership's changing and stuff. You just have to watch this show. But yeah, this is really good. Then he has good quotes up here by professional traders. Here's a 7 to 10 year Treasury bond weekly. I forget what the thesis is here, but this guy's really smart. And anyway, especially if you're worried about the market and you like to do some weekend research, it's only one video a week. It's about 30 minutes usually. And, you know, watching this video helps. I get too emotional about the market because I'm looking at a short time frame. I'm worried about the funds I'm invested in. And I look at a very myopic type view, but he steps back and takes a broader look. Maximum flexibility 100% of the time. Can you guys see that? I don't know what you guys are looking at. I don't know. I'm not sharing that screen, am I? I'm sorry. Gosh darn it. Hang on a second, because these are some really cool charts. Hang on here. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm just showing a few charts, but yeah, he's, look, maximum flexibility, 100% of the time, no assumptions, no extrapolation, complacency kills. And this guy has the best long-term charts in the business. And he'll look at some of the same kind of stuff I'm looking at. We're going back to 2022, but and stuff like that. But he just does a lot better job. Anyway, go watch this video. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the comments. But this guy is good, really, really good in my opinion. So that's your homework. That's your homework. I've already watched it once. I'm not watching it again. Now, I always post this in Discord and tell the guys to watch it. His name's Chris Shabako. CIA Vaco, and I think he's a chartered financial. There's you can get a degree in technical analysis. It's called a CFM or certified, not financial planner. Anyway, he has all the credentials and stuff, but it's him and his wife. It's a 2-person mom and pop business. They manage wealth for people. Yeah, I got you. I finally caught on, but yeah, his name's here, let me something like that. Shivako, and his name's Chris Shivako, and man, he's good. He is good. Okay, what are you saying here? Nope, the only one, but people are not all on board yet until more adoption happens. Yeah, I hear you on that. But the thing is, even if we go into crypto winter, at some point it'll bottom, right? And the people that still have cash, the people that didn't get blown out on margin, will buy it up, and they'll do like my brother-in-law and buy it at 16,000. Like I say, he didn't buy that much. He just has it for fun. But anyway, if you like XRP, look into XLM, similar, same co-founder. Okay, that's a good one to know. That's a good one to know. Okay, so let me figure out what I'm doing here. Let me get this off my screen. But yeah, this guy's, I just can't emphasize how good this guy's charts are. He uses the cloud. He uses, he looks at daily, monthly, weekly, hourly. I mean, there's nothing they don't cover in this thing. Okay, so I'll stop talking about him. CLM, or what were you going to say? XRP and XLM. Look into, okay. Yes, XLM is similar for us, not banks. Okay. XRP looks, okay. I was going to pull it up somewhere. Hang on here. XLM is very similar for us, not banks. I know I missed Mike's comment. Okay, so let me go back here. Sorry, Michael. I knew my screen wasn't sharing. Okay, and you say, no. I'm sorry, guys. At least I caught on before I started talking for 15 minutes and didn't check back. I need to get better. I forget I have two screens. I need to get better at looking at both of them. Yeah. Okay, Michael. Yeah, I wanted to catch, because I asked you to answer and I wanted to catch what you said. So you see something, not stocks related directly. I see ISO, to whatever that is, and XRP being adopted. Okay. Could be huge. I'm with you on that. Maybe the dip and everything's going into moving by the big players. I mean, I'm firmly convinced that the whole world's a big grift, especially government. And anyway, so there's a lot of Bitcoin grifters that are in our government, and I like them. I mean that as a compliment. So yes, I would think surely they're going to have a couple more years. They would surely get a bunch of stuff adopted, and that surely is going to be a tailwind for Bitcoin. I mean, I'm really hoping, and I'm just joking. I'm calling grifters, but I mean they're talking their own book. Anyway, maybe the dip and everything going on is movement by the big players. Yeah. And I also think that the reason it's dipped 30% is because it's getting the weak hands out. The people that, buy, that are day trading Bitcoin on 50x leverage, it knocked them out. They're all broke now. So or a lot of them are. So, and that happens like a forest fire. You have to come and clean out the forest, and then a new forest can grow in its place. Yeah, no, you don't usually talk, Michael, that much, but I do like your opinion. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I didn't notice that. Big movements are happening, in my opinion. Heck yeah. Okay, and then that's when Dylan chimed in with the ICXRP, meaning Ripple, is a huge adoption, but early blockchain for it can be sketchy. Also, okay, I'm making sure I'm showing that to you. Can be sketchy, also centralized, but I'd like it to replace the SWIFT transaction system, and surely with the people they have in place, if it ever has a chance to do it, it's now. I really like David Sachs. I guess he's the AI czar, but there's the crypto guys are in Trump's ear also. Okay. So what is his name? Chris Shabako. So we covered that. And then, nope. The only one people not on board with it yet okay. So I read that one already and I agree with that, but now it makes a lot more sense. I just get sidetracked on, I mean, I'm like Jax when he sees a squirrel running down the road. He'll take off and chase it. I mean, that's how I get about stuff I'm passionate about. And that Chris Shabako, that is a damn good video. I mean, that guy's incredible. He got me through 2022 in good shape. I mean, he'll keep you from panicking but also, and he'll tell you when you need to panic. I've been watching him every weekend for 5 years. Okay. So Michael, you're saying one gives 3% per month or 36% year on top of growth. Okay. So now I'm missing the context on that. So let me go back. I'll figure it out though. Okay, you like XRP is huge adoption, but it can be sketchy and centralized. Okay, so yeah. Okay. One gives 3% per month or 30%. So who's giving 36 per day? I'm not following on that one. Is that what XRP does? I mean, if you're, I know you can stake these things and you can make money, but that's kind of like covered calls. It's not free money. You also give up something when, or sometimes your staking pool can blow up. I mean, remember when Mark Cuban was in one and it blew up? I mean, anyway, if you like XRP, look into XLM. Okay. And it's the same co-founder. Now I'm getting it. So Stellar Lumen. Are you talking Stellar Lumen? Yeah. Dude, I'm friends. All my friends in Austin are 30 somethings, millennials. And they like to trade options and stuff. I taught them options, but they taught me, they're teaching me about altcoins and stable coins. And they're big believers in Cardano for whatever reason. And there's another one too. But anyway, yeah, Stellar Lumen. I've heard about it before. It's very similar for us, not for the banks. I get you now. I see what you're saying now, and I understand the context. Now I understand the context. And thank you, Dylan. If I wouldn't have seen that, I would have got sidetracked. You don't cause any problems, Michael. I appreciate you being here. Michael's one of my oldest Max fans. I mean, I remember 2 years ago when I first started, and I first started the live with, I used to do late night with Max and Jax. I started it over Christmas. And I was bored over Christmas. And so I would just do these late nights, and I would, just like now, I just come on and talk. And Michael was always there, and other people too. I had a guy named Norman who was always there, but Michael especially because of the time difference. All right. So zero ETF and XLM. Yeah, is that no? There's no ETFs, but they did just introduce an ETF that is staked. They have Solana staking, but now they also have staking in another coin, but I forget what it was. Maybe it's Ripple. Maybe it's Ripple staking. So they have. Anyway, I saw that the other day. The Solana staking one is called SSK, and then that same company put out one. I think it's maybe Ripple or something, but yeah, no ETM and XLM yet. You look all the time. Cool. I'll keep my eyes open too. Don't fight the Fed, and those in charge are 100% in crypto. Yeah, true. The people in charge are maxis. So, I mean, and not only the people in charge, also the people that help advise Trump, like Elon, and maybe not only the ones that are directly in charge, but the ones that are in his ear. Not to mention Don Jr. and and his family and stuff. I mean, a lot of Trump's wealth, I think, from what I've heard, is tied up in world liberty. So they'll do whatever they can to make money. It's just like any politician would. I'm not saying anything bad about any particular politician. Okay. My friends, I have never seen so many signs on anything. Yeah, I hear you on that. Also, more fuel to Bitcoin when the U.S. removes the capital gains tax. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be huge. That would be huge. And you are not a Cardano. I'm not a Cardano peso, whatever peso. I don't know what peso means. Is that like the opposite of a maxi or something, or a person? Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm just telling you what I know. I have a very limited knowledge. I've told you everything I know about it. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so look into XRPM. What is XRPM? Oh, is that Ethereum staking? Yeah, or that's the one I was talking about. Okay. XRPM. Well, I don't even know where to look into it because unless it's on FinViz, I can't find it. Well, maybe I'm just joking. The Stellar Lumen was on FinViz. Oh, yes. Okay. That's the 3%. Okay. Absolutely. So I like Amplify. I like the idea of funds that don't give out all the money. They just give out part of it. It just less of a tax on future upside. And who needs more than 36% a year? Now, it doesn't look like it's done great since it's been introduced, but I mean, it came out at the wrong time, just like ULTI came out at the wrong time. It's been out like 2 days. So what do we know? Okay. Hey, that's a good tip there. That's a good tip. Yeah, Michael has been here since the beginning, for sure, for sure. I know, oh, peso is money in the Philippines. Okay. Okay, well, pesos are money in Mexico too, right? You wonder if GOF keeps going down? I don't know, Michael. What do you think? I don't really study GOF that much. Yeah, you do like the one. So the one you're talking about is the one I put up on the screen is XRPM. Yeah. Amplify does Biddy and Baggy. I think those are good. Although when I do my Bitcoin show, there's other ones that perform better. I mean, you know, but I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing. Okay, so Michael's saying it's new, but, and I'm sure he's typing, so take your time. I'll read it. This time I'll try not to get sidetracked. But I just had to give you guys some homework. That guy is as good as it gets. If you're interested in technical analysis and interested in like longer market history and stuff, he goes back and makes a lot of parallels. And Jackson and I, like I say, I had the perfect day today. We smoked a pork tenderloin out in my big green egg, but I have a big red egg because it's whatever Costco was selling instead of green. And I went on my massive walk with Jackson. He's passed Smooth Out right next to me. And I'm going to go on the same walk tomorrow. But yeah, my Sooners won, my Longhorns won. All right. But watch that they pay 36%. And it is so cheap now. Yeah. No, I got you, because you get more bang for your buck since the price pulled back, because they're going to pay 36% based on, well, yeah, I get you. I got you. And it'll most likely have huge growth. And you're right. If the growth grows, they're going to pay 3% of the growing amount, and you'll get extra. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's good to know. I would not have known about that XRPM. I'm going to do something right now, because you're probably typing again, but I'm going to go to the new max factor, and I'm going to go to the master list, and I'm going to put it in here. So, and also we can look at what's coming up. These are all the ETFs that are coming up. They aren't 3 months old yet, but IETH, AMYY comes out. This is the inception date. So you go 3 months past, and so like AMYY will be on the max factor on September 16th. Now BITK, that one's, I'm still sore about that one just because I bought it at the wrong time. WPay, I can't wait to get WPay on here and compare it. It'll be on here 10, 11, 12, December 4th. ETTY, that's, Ethereum. I forget who the company is. Is that Defiance or something? No, I bet it's Granite maybe. Anyway, whatever. Then we have MAYY. That is Granite shares. That'll be out soon. SOLM. So what are some other ones that I need to put on here besides, what was it, XRPM? XRPM. Solano staking's already on here. It's been out 3 months, and it's not part of the max factor. So yeah, XRPM. So yeah, it came out yesterday, Friday, it looks like, maybe Thursday, I guess. All right. But anyway, if there's any more that I need to put on here, new funds that are coming out, let me know. I mean, there's a lot of them, but anyway, every time I think of one or I hear one, I slap it on, I put it on the bottom of the list, and then I periodically check this. And once it's 3 months old, then it goes in the real list. You could see all these NAs right here because it doesn't have enough data to calculate a lot of the formulas. But anyway, all right. So, all right, there we go. All right. Oh yeah, I scrolled all the way back. No, you usually don't talk that much, but like I say, I always value your opinion, though. It's not about quick triple gains or anything. Okay. SSK. Okay. So SSK, ESK. So I think that's in response to this. We need to put that in here. SSK is already in here, and it doesn't do very well, or it hasn't been. But anyway, so the other one was EEK. Okay, SSK, ESK. Yeah, SSK, I'll check, but it's already on here. ESK. Come on. What's going on? All right, so ESK definitely needs to be here. So it came out on, well, it's still loading. EHY and ETTY. I got ETTY already. So let's, Jackson, what are you doing? He kind of just rolled over and looked at me. EHY. Okay, yeah, 925. So 10, 11, 12. So that Christmas ESK will be on here. EHY. Okay. That's Amplify Ethereum max income cover call. Cool. That's cool. Heck yeah. We're here to learn. And yeah, I learn as much from you guys as you guys learn from me. I'm good at teaching about some things. I mean, specific buffer funds and option strategies, but I don't have near the breadth of knowledge that a lot of you guys do, especially when it comes to closed-end funds, as I found out last night. I didn't even know about CEF Connect, and I've heard of CEF Connect before. I mean, I know about it, but when it comes to closed-end funds or, DeFi and Bitcoin, you guys have all the information, but I can take you. What I'm trying to do is take the information you guys give me and then apply the knowledge of the strategy, and we'll try to find the strategies that are least capped and to do the best job or whatever. So, but anyway, yeah, we're all here to learn, and that includes me. Yeah, it's all good. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry at all. I think Jaxie he's an Ethereum maxi. Jack the maxi, Jackie the maxi. So you have covered call and staking crypto ETFs. Hey, RJ, what are you doing? I haven't seen you. I mean, you've been in here, but I just hadn't noticed that you've been in here tonight. But maybe you have been. I've been going, yeah, you've been commenting the whole time. I'm sorry. You did just start talking more here lately. Okay, you probably joined the party late. Yeah, so you have covered call and staking crypto ETFs. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You just arrived. Okay, yeah, but you have been joining. I just hadn't noticed you yet because you were right here, SSK and ESK. Okay, and I have both of those here. So, and EHY, what I do is I put them in red though. So, and then I change them. So I just try to remember to check this list every week when I do the top 20 show. I come down here and I make sure that one hasn't come out, and then I'll switch the color, and put it in the list. But you guys remember when Mark Cuban was involved in some kind of staking, and my friend here in Austin, he was in on that same staking pool, and it was making, like 1% a week or something just incredible, and it blew up. Okay, Amplify, good. We have that one. All right, so you just arrived. Okay, you bought some SOLM. Do I have SOLM down here? Yeah, I do. It came out November 4th. Doesn't look like it's paid a dividend yet. So ESK, well, let's look at ESK. Because I'm seeing some funny numbers down there. It looks like it's already paying a huge. So it's Rex Osprey ETF plus staking. I like the plus staking. Staking is a similar concept to covered calls. You have to give up something, of course. And I guess what you give up is you let somebody else have custody of your coins. It goes in the staking pool, right? I mean, but it's a similar concept. There's no free money, but you can, it reminds me of covered calls. But the same way as covered calls, if the bottom falls out of whatever you're staking, just like if the bottom falls out of Bitcoin and your fund is XBTY, you're going to be in a world of hurt. You can't get away from the risk and reward equation. But anyway, so this thing has paid one dividend, and it was 55 cents. No, 2.2 cents. Okay, but what's the price? And the price is 28. Okay, well, I have the bad number in the. So the max factor was it shows that dividend right there, 2.2 cents, but it's showing it at 55 cents because it's showing the recent price at 25 cents, which isn't correct. So anyway, that's just I'll figure that out. That's not a big deal, but yeah, it's not really paying. It'd be, well, surely it's, I mean, what was the price? The price was like $50, right? Or $25. All right, well, I'll get that. I'll get all that figured out. Yeah, it paid a 2-cent dividend, which is about 13 basis points, and that's over 2 months. So this isn't going to be, it doesn't look like a high yield opportunity, but it's going to pay something. It looks like it, it's going to pay something. So right here, we can see what they have. They have the CoinShares digital security. So CoinShares physical stake the Ethereum. So that's probably a staking pool of money or whatever. And they invest in that with 40% of the money. Then they buy the Wisdom Tree Commodity Security Limited. So, and then they have 18% just Ethereum. Huh. Yeah, it's good information. This is good information. All right. It's just okay. So RJ, what crypto do you like? And Mike, you're saying that Michael's saying he was on that. I was on that through YieldMax or through Yield Maybe. Would just do it. I was one that thought maybe would just do it for me. Lost a lot of cash. I got you. I know what you're saying now. Yeah, so you did your own option. So, that's awesome. That's option. I like to hear that. All right. ESK was around 25 per share. Yeah, exactly. So I have a bad number in there in the max factor, but I have months to figure it out. Same Mike, but did trades on the QQQ has been your bread and butter. Well, man, the QQQ and the SPYs, you could get in and out of options so easy. The bid-ask spread is tiny. There's tons of liquidity. It's no problem to put on a spread. There's strike prices at every point. That's I mean, of course, those are good ones. And I love Q options, and I like NVIDIA options also. Anything that's where the options, I like Apple options. I mean, where the options are just so liquid, you don't have any problem with bid and ask and any type of illiquidity problems. All right. RJ has Bitcoin, Lite, Dogecoin, Solano, and Kronos. Okay. Things changed for Michael because I came to the Philippines and didn't or couldn't have proper time to trade. Yeah. How long have you been in the Philippines, Michael? Ever since I've known you. And I met you right at the end of 2023. I need to have a 2-year, I need to make some content for my 2-year anniversary and go back and show my first video. My 2-year anniversary was, I think, November 11th. So I've already missed it. But I mean, maybe over Thanksgiving, I'll get bored when the market's closed and finally make that content. But yeah, I met you, and I can look in my comments and see the people that were in my comments right off the get-go. And I think you were one of them. All right. Thursday was around 200 at the money. Friday was 300 to 400 due to VIX. Yeah. VIX going up could be a blessing and a curse. And VIX going up makes the market go down. But if you're selling premium, you can make a little bit more money, but once again, you take more risk. You can't get away from risk and reward for at the money. That's what I figured you were talking about. That's what I figured you were talking about. So Dylan, do you do, how do you monetize those? Do you buy the Qs and sell at the money calls, or do you do, or you selling call spreads, or you probably told me before, but I forgot. Anyway, put your strategy in here if you want to share it with us. All right. So, and let's see, and all this time, Mike never made me a mod. Well, yeah, I never had a mod until about a month ago. I've literally never had a mod. And then about a month ago, we had a troll attack, and I made Froggy a mod, and I think there's 1 or 2 other mods. Then I have 4 or 5 guys from my Discord, but you could definitely be a mod here. You're going to be a mod now. Watch this. You're now a mod, Michael. I have to go to YouTube to do it. I have to go to the video that we're on. I think this is the way to do it. So is this, yeah, Saturday Night Live shows. So hopefully it doesn't feedback. I'm going to hit mute really quick. No, it's not made for kids. I hope that I've been, all right. So let me click right here. And I'm going to try to hit mute before it comes on. There it is. All right. So, and now I just have to go to the comment section. There it is. Oh, but yeah, I mean, I know you were just teasing me. But anyway, an extra mod. Oh, we wonder if Froggy's not here. You can't have too many mods. You don't have to do anything. I haven't had one problem since that one day. Add as moderator. But yeah, maybe you're here. So I mean, you are here a lot. I'd like you to, I mean, you're here at odd times of the day. My usual mods are the guys in Discord, and they're always here during my daytime shows. But Froggy's here at night a bunch, and so you are now the managing moderator. Same thing as everyone else. You and Froggy are both moderators. Okay. But yeah, I should have made you a mod a long time ago. Like I say, you won't have to do anything. It's more like an honorary role. But if you see somebody that's I don't care if somebody gets in here and says I'm boring or says I'm stupid or says I'm ugly, but if somebody, I'm not trying to, I believe in free speech. I'll engage with anybody. But if somebody just can't be reasoned with or whatever, just put them in timeout. Dan's my usual moderator, and we've had to block like 2 or 3 people, but then I felt bad. And a few days later, I went and unblocked him. And then, to be truthful, though, the very next day I had a troll attack. So I went back and reblocked him. I don't know if they were the trolls, but anyway, but it's like an honorary thing. See, you have the wrench next to your name. Yeah, of course. Okay. So why haven't you been a mod? I could have really used your help that one night. I had no mods. I was getting pictures of large, parts of the anatomy all over everywhere. And my Discord wasn't locked down. I had like one mod in Discord and he was asleep. I mean, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. I had some guy on here that quit my channel because he was so grossed out by what was happening in Discord. And I'm like, I don't know what to, I didn't know how to do, I was just banning people. I didn't know that banning, or I was blocking people, but blocking people doesn't ban them. I was doing everything wrong. Anyway, some guys from Rod's Discord had to jump in and help me. Bank Shot Bo. I mean, he's in our Discord too, but he's mainly a Rod guy. He jumped in and helped me, and a few guys from my channel that were up. I got in, and it took us a couple of days to get it straightened out. But yeah, so I know you know what to do. Yeah, blocking the exactly inappropriate things. Exactly. Like I'm not worried about somebody calling me a name or whatever. Well, or somebody saying, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, Max, or whatever. That's fine. I mean, everyone has right to their opinion. I know you got my back. I appreciate you. And Froggy has my back too. So now we have Froggy. So my night mods are basically Froggy and Michael. And for some reason, I want to think that there's another guy that's also a night mob. I forget who it is. It's a Grumpy. I think maybe Grumpy's a moderator too. I think. And I thought I made Easy Life. I thought I made Chad a moderator. Chad, are you a moderator? Chad's probably at the club. Yeah, I think Chad left us. He's probably at the club. Where is old Easy Life? What's his last comment here? I just want to see if he's a moderator too. I thought he was. No, he's not a moderator. If you want to be a moderator, you can be one too, Chad. But anyway, I think Chad one time said he didn't want to be a moderator. So whatever. We have enough moderators now. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to let you guys get out of here. I've been talking for a long time. I'm going to do something, watch some football. This game doesn't look like it's much good, but like it's, very interesting. But I really need to make some content. I'm getting behind on making original content. So I'm going to get out of here. No, it's not Oracle. I don't think he's been on my stream once or twice, but I just ignored him and he went away. No, it wasn't him. It was some guy that it was. The guys we had to ban were 2 or 3 guys I'd never heard of. And it wasn't me that banned him. It was Dan, and they were saying inappropriate stuff, and he just put him in timeout or something. And but like I say, then I let him back in because I felt bad. One of them may have been Oracle's burner account. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, but I let him back in because I felt bad about it. And I didn't tell him I let him back in. I just went to my channel blocks and unblocked everybody. And the very next day, I got a troll attack. So who knows? But I don't have a problem with Oracle. I mean, Oracle. Oracle joined your live stream in the Philippines and called us. Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, I got you. Something like that. I got you. Yeah. If it's not, I don't mind getting made fun of. I do lots of funny stuff. I'm easy to make fun of. But if it's somebody that's just, it's not productive to the conversation, even though it doesn't bother me, and maybe, other people are here to learn and stuff. So yeah, I got you. And it was him. Maybe he's the one that got my station too. I don't know. Like I say, no hard feelings. No hard feelings here. It's whatever. And I've been doing this 2 years, and I've had one troll attack. And it lasted about 2 days. They kept getting into because I had my Discord open, and somehow they got into my Discord, and they could get right. You can't see this, but they could wait on the stage for me to let them in. So I looked down at the stage, and it said Marcus, and Marcus is one of my moderators and a good guy that's part of the day crew. Usually, sometimes he's here at night, and it said Marcus. So I looked down and thought, how did Marcus get here? And then I looked, and it wasn't Marcus. It was. But they put somebody's name that's in the, probably they knew he was a moderator because he had a wrench next to his name. And they put Marcus like he was waiting on stage to get in. But had I been dumb and let him in, it would have been a giant, member of the male anatomy all over the screen. So, no, I got you. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, they learn all kinds of stuff. Oh, and get this. Then so I'm real open with you guys. I give out my phone number. My phone number was in Discord. And so then I started getting calls, and so I answered one of them, hello, is Max there? Yeah, this is Max. How come you're calling my 15-year-old sister? And I just hung up on him and blocked the number, but I kept getting calls from voice over IP lines. And anyway, all right. Hey, I don't think I've seen you in here before, Kenya. Have you heard that? No, I haven't. I don't know anything about that. Maybe some of the guys in my Discord do. I'm not a crypto guy. I think it's fun being a content creator. I mean, I've had like, out of the 2 years I've been doing it, I've had 3 days of troll problems. The rest of the time I meet great people like you guys and make friends and stuff. Yeah. I'm cool. Max, did that guy who got all offended in Discord Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. And I couldn't understand it. I was doing the best I could. And he was like, this stuff is gross, And then I said, okay, I'm sorry. And I was texting people and I'm trying to figure out, I don't know how to, I was blocking instead of banning, and you can block people and it just disappears in your timeline. And it was just exploding. Yeah. And he didn't. He never came back. He's welcome to. I remember his name. I mean, I get that it was gross. The stuff that was going on was gross and it was inappropriate. And I don't want my brand associated with that, but no, he never did come back. My trade strat you missed. Oh, I'm sorry. What was your, okay. I want to see that though. I do want to see. Yeah, I see that. I'm sorry. I see that. You guys got me talking about trust like a squirrel. It's like when Jack sees a squirrel. Okay, here we go. Let's put this up here. There's 50 people here. Wow. I had to enter and exit on a market order. You just buy calls or puts and DCA, 0 DT and 7 DT after noon trading. Oh, that's right. And we were talking, you told me the other day about yes. I mean, Okay. I do know your strategy because we were talking about the other day. You said that you had some leaps and then you sold some premium and then you covered it like a 70% gain. Okay, so let me go back. I may have missed, there may be one more. Okay. So I had to enter and exit on market orders. I just buy calls or puts and UDCA, 0 DTE and 7 DTE afternoon. Okay. But in the morning, maybe 0 DTE. And then later in the day, you use 7. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Use RSI on 30 and 70 with the MACD. Overlay that with support and resistance. Okay. So you're timing the market. You aren't selling premium, or maybe you sell premium also. But I mean, obviously you sell premium because you're talking about the premium right here at the money call options with her. Or no, not necessarily. If you're just buying premium, that makes a huge difference too, because you have to pony up extra. No, that's cool. I think you're doing a little bit of both. I'm just trying to figure it out. But yeah, you told me about the 30 and 70 crossover. You overlay that support and resistance. Yeah, it sounds like a solid strategy. I'm sorry I missed that. Now let me go down here and make sure I haven't missed anything else. Travis is in the house. I've never heard of that project. Friend who has already sold their crypto wallets through. You guys going to watch the Grand Prix tonight? Is there a Grand Prix in Las Vegas? That might be kind of fun to watch. Comes on at 11. I'll probably watch that. Max, did you discuss T-Rex 2X long, Mr.? I haven't discussed MSTU yet. Okay. All right. Well, one of the mods needs to take care of that. I don't know if I'm getting spammed or not. Michael, you're the mod. Take care of it. I'm just joking, but I mean, there you go. You know how to take care of it. All right. That means you're famous now. I got you. I thought I might be getting spammed. But anyway, okay. Yeah, so you're timing the market. So you're right. That's awesome. I like that too. I like that as well. And what I like is you're taking emotions out of it to the extent you can, because you're using the 30 and 70, the crossovers, and then you're also considering where the market is in regards to support and resistance. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay, I knew you take care of it, Michael. But see, it's your first day on the job, and you've already saved me. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. If there's no other questions, I'll stay here and answer them as long as you guys are here. But I want to get out of here. What time is it? 9:46. Yeah, so it's 10:46 on the East Coast. You guys need to go. You young guys need to go hit the club. Thanks for helping out, Michael. Thanks everyone for being here. Oh, remember, let me read my disclaimers. Well, first of all, remember, this is not financial advice. The max factor is a cool metric, but it's just one way of looking. It's just one little slice of the market. It's just one way to look at these high yield funds. There's better ways. Anyway, but forget about anything you hear on YouTube or wherever. For serious things like your financial future is a very serious thing. Consult a professional advisor. And also, if you guys are so inclined, you can always donate to the station at paypal.me/Max Convexity. And I always appreciate tips. But other than that, I really don't have anything else to say. Like I say, I'll stay around if there's JRC was not a troll. No, I didn't think, I thought, well, anyway, but there was one guy that kept talking about a crypto project, and it was like, it almost looked like it spelled Dick or something, a D4K Dicky or something. I don't know. So that's what I thought was, but no, RJ's good. RJ's good. He's on the good team. JRC was not a troll. Okay. Well, who knows? Anyway, club. Okay. Club waste of money investing better. Time the market. I'm trying to follow what you're saying, Dylan. Yeah, I hear you, Michael. All right. You have a good night. Everyone have a good night. But yes, 3 different names. I tried the same thing. All right. Well, anyway, whatever. Yeah, I looked. I thought maybe that guy was a troll too. I said he was a first timer or something, and he kept talking about not a troll, just he was promoting something that because he heard us talking about crypto. Yeah, it means I'm famous. It means I'm famous. Well, let me ask you, Michael. Did you time him out, or did you ban him? Well, this was the one I thought. I thought it was this one. Is this not? Is that not the one that was? I thought that might be spamming. No offense if it isn't spamming, Kenya. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. But that's the one I had my eye on that I wasn't sure about, because it said the same thing twice in a row also. Or maybe I just went by it twice in a row. But that's the one I thought you took care of. I didn't. But anyway, maybe I didn't see it. Only timeout. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, we're all good then. Everyone's friends here. We're all good. All right, you guys have a good evening. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk to you later. And hit me up in Discord if there's anything else we forgot to talk about, or you could email me. My email is maxconvexity@gmail.com. If there's anything you want to ask me that we forgot to talk about. Live and learn. Absolutely. But no, I haven't. But no, Froggy, to answer your question, I haven't. But I mean, it's double long leverage MSTU. It's probably good. That something like that will probably get delisted, or I wonder how many times that's reverse split. But yeah, I mainly try to talk about things that sell premium. That's just a double leverage. To me, double leverage isn't that interesting. It's just about timing the market. But if there was double leverage and they sold premium, I would talk about that. There's an Ethereum fund by Defiance that's double leveraged, but it sells premium also. I think it's ETHI, and it's in the max factor, and it has 200% leverage and sells premium. I'm all about it. But on those, I think T-Rex is a good company. That's Matthew Tuttle, the same guy that does, that's the sub-advisor on, that's what the T in T-Rex stands for, is Tuttle. And he's the sub-advisor with Rex on those leverage funds. Matthew's a sharp guy. And in fact, that reminds me, that's what I'm going to do when I get out of here. Matthew has a new fund coming out, and I've written a review for it, but I need to go film that review. He has an ETF coming out called OHNO. OHNO is the symbol. So that's what I'm going to do when I get out of here. It's so granted. Oh, I see. Okay. So you're talking, I got you, Dylan. I'm just joking when I say hit the club. It's not my cup of tea either. It used to be, but anyway. But I got you. So you're doing the granted share strategy. I know exactly I'm following exactly what you're doing. I know exactly what you're saying. So the granted share strategy is they sell put spreads, but it sounds to me like you're trying to time the market. So maybe you're only doing it at times when it's advantageous, when the market's pulled back into support or something. Sounds like you're doing a better strategy than the granted shares. Yeah. Club is a waste of money. I got you. No, I'm just joking. It's what I say every Saturday night. I just assume young guys want to go to the club. I'm just joking. A different subject. Okay. So different subject. Okay. So not what you're doing. All right. I'm trying to follow the granted share strategy. I agree with you on the club's a waste of money. Time the market. All right. Yes, I got you now. Now I'm with you. Exactly. So yes. Okay. Now that you brought that up, we got to look at it. And I'm actually real excited about this ETHI, and not about Ethereum, but they're coming out with the whole line of funds that is leveraged long plus income. So let's see. I don't think this was probably not done very well. It came out about a month ago. It's probably already delisted. It's at 6. I think it came out at 25. Well, it came out at 20. It's fixing to reverse split probably. But anyway, I think this is cool. In fact, I think this is the next frontier. That's the only thing that really hasn't been done yet in covered calls And WPay started to do it round hill using a little bit of leverage plus income. And I really like, but what I'm really excited about is this one, income. So check this out. So ETHI, so that's Ethereum, but you could do any of these. And so I'm interested in these because these are leveraged, plus they also sell premium and you get a little bit of income. But no, I don't think this is like the granite share strategy. I think this is even more levered than the granite share strategy. I think they're buying well, it's probably very similar. But anyway, I've read the prospectus on this ETHI. The only reason I'm interested in that one is because the other ones are single stocks, and single stocks do nothing for me. At least ETHI is based on a sector of the economy or something. Anyway, but when I read the prospectus, they're coming out with some of these on the SPY and the Qs. So you're going to get leveraged exposure to the SPYs and the Qs plus income. But anyway, ETHI was brought out at the wrong time. But Defiance, a lot of people sleep on them or whatever, but they're the ones that right now that have one of the best funds out there. This one, QLDY, the Lightning Spread Fund. And they're coming out with the SPY-based Lightning Spread Fund. It's just not out yet, or they filed for one. But yeah, Defiance has some cool stuff. And I'm interested in the leverage plus income. But Defiance also has just straight leverage. If you guys just like to trade the market directionally, like I think a few weeks ago, if you would have bought PLTZ, Planeteer short, Double X short, or IONZ, or any of these that are based in quantum, or are got to be killing it lately. Well, let's just look at PLTZ. Let's just look at that. I bet it's just getting crushed. Now, like I say, no, it doesn't sell premium, so it's not going to be in the max factor. I'm not going to talk about that much, but since you guys brought it up, but this one's probably doing pretty dang well, I would think. It has 99 million under management. Well, actually, it's doing bad because it came out this summer. Well, Palantir was rocking, but lately, did Peter Thiel or somebody sold their whole stake, and some hedge funds are shorting the heck out of Palantir. Anyway, this one could turn into be a good one because look, if you bought it at 6, it went down in the high 5s, and now it's up to, it doesn't look that big on this chart, but it's up about 20%. But yeah, these the leverage ones can be cool. I just like when they sell premium also. You take the blame for what? Oh, you're just saying sorry to JRC. Okay. Well, anyway, he'll be back. He'll be back. It's all good. And yeah, we're just testing out the systems. We're just testing out his systems. We're testing the defenses. I know you apologize, Michael. It's good. I thought you guys were talking about this dude. Like I say, now I feel bad that if this dude didn't have anything to do with it, but it's Travis, because I said hey to him. But I keep, when you talk about who's already sold their crypto wallets through that seems spammy to me. Because it's not like anything we're talking about. We are talking about crypto, but we aren't talking about, but whatever. I mean, if Travis, I apologize if you aren't trying to spam the timeline. I apologize. Like I say, I'm kind of happy because it means my channel's getting more popular. I was kind of happy when I got trolled or whatever. So he's back in. You got JRC. Yeah, RJ's good. RJ's definitely good. Is that who you guys were talking about? Anyway, all right. I'm getting it backwards as usual. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. I need to go make that video. All right, guys. You guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you later.